searching the dark side of the mountain. Through my bones and hair and blood, words rise and cold snatched from my mouth to sink them into the cold black mud.
Howdy everybody, welcome to Old Gods of Appalachia. My name is Scott, my pronouns are he, him, and this is Slaunchwise to the Mountain. Old Gods of Appalachia is, of course, a horror campaign, so it may have material not suitable for all audiences, so listener discretion is advised. Welcome neighbors. Revelations often define the traumas that bring about the most painful of change. Between the books and the breaks, there are no exceptions to what are always seen as end times by the most extreme believers. Annie-Lynn McSweeney has had a revelation that is her questioning her own place in this world, or at least within her family. Not a question you should be asking yourself, I suppose. But deeper clues revolve around that question. Deeper clues that have their friends scratching their head also. They have a photographic negative of a very interesting, exciting kind of moment when just before an aeroplane came to the ground crashing and burning. The pelt of a half-wolf nightmare thing that invaded the home of Mr. Jericho, a hand they hold on to, seemingly for dear life, and one Miss Sela Kazaya and her kin that are currently of interest in this Sherlock Holmesian kind of mountain mystery. Well, let's just bring everybody on and get right to the story. All right. So why don't we go around, say who you are, where they can find you, and I'll drop your links in the chat. Why don't we start with Annie?
Hi, I'm Annie-Lynn McSweeney. I'm a protector who walks these woods. And in real life, you can find me at Lady Adey Paints on Twitter and Instagram.
All right. How about Evangeline?
Hello, I'm Evangeline Antonio Blank, and I'm an uppity explorer who would rather be reading. And I am played by Juicy Garland, a Boston area drag queen and super nerd. And you can find me on all the social medias at Juicy Garland.
Celina.
Hi, I'll be playing William Matheson, the explorer who cannot escape the darkness. And I am also Celina. You can find me at ABCDFAR and ABCDFAR11 on the social medias. I'm not on there often. It's kind of a hellscape, but here I am.
And Jericho.
I'm Jericho Eligast. I'm a superstitious herbalist that serves the green. I'm played by Rahrah. I hang out on Blue Sky. My card's there wherever else I hang out, but mostly just on Blue Sky.
At the end of last session, we kind of had a bit of a lore session. A bunch of information was learned or garnered. We did have one person missing. We have one missing tonight. But there were some interesting things garnered from Ms. Gazzy, who is a local aura reader, card reader, probably a tea reader if she'll throw leaves down, probably. Who knows what else she knows. But she's also been known to, on occasion, speak to the spirits or allow other people, particularly loved ones, to speak to the spirits too. Our Mr. Volney has made it home and is now hitting the head, as they say in the Navy, going to sleep, going to the bathroom, and will be out of it tonight. All right. Evangeline, you have had this book in your hands all night that has identified for you the fact that your book, that you had not really known what it was, has some kinds of runes that are indicative of the same writing that is in one of Gazi's books.
Oh, well. Have I found anything interesting, perhaps?
It seems that what your book has is some kind of what they would call a proto-language, perhaps, of one of the Native American tribes, perhaps the Iroquois or the Cherokee or the Sioux. Not sure exactly which one, although it may be multiples, as we're not even sure if all of them came from different places. They may have all arisen from one.
Oh, wow. And, is there anything I can use in here to decode some of this language?
You may.
Perhaps.
If you spend enough time, you can actually decode quite a bit of your book, and you will get to see that it is suddenly more valuable than it would have been just a day ago.
Oh, well, do I need to roll anything, perhaps, or does it just come to me over time?
If you spend the time, you don't have to roll. If you want to rush it, you may.
Oh, I'd love to run.
Okay, then you may make a. Let me look at your.
Writing, I do have
Right.
that. Would writing help me, or would it be some sort
It'd
of
be more of a-
perception? Or anthropology?
Anthropology, I think, would be the closest one. Linguistics is really the one I would have looked for, but I don't think that's actually a skill in this game.
No, and anthropology is sort of a blanket.
Yeah,
So if I could do that, I'd love to.
let's do it.
I shall roll. I rolled a 10. Ooh, I should have put some effort into that, huh?
Yeah, you may have to spend a little time.
All right there.
Maybe bedtime
I'm his.
reading.
Yes, more than one night, I guess.
The excitement of learning all this stuff all of a sudden has got you flustered. Gazi has left you alone, but she opens the door. You know it's morning, and you've been here all night, kind of enjoying the books.
Perhaps it was one or two too many lemonades. But I just can't make a dang thing out of this yet. But I'll get there.
I will let you take that book with you if you promise to bring it back. I do not know of another way of getting a copy of that one.
You have my word.
I trust you. I trust your chaos energy. It reminds me of myself when I was your age.
Well, to me, that's a good sign. I have a
Yeah.
lot to look forward to then.
Your aura is always moving, and I kind of appreciate that. A lot of people's very static, and I don't want to say boring, but that's kind of what I mean.
Aura.
Yeah, yes, your aura.
What about it?
It is always on the move. It is never sitting still. Some people get calm and relaxed. I don't think you have relaxation in your dictionary.
She's taking notes on this. How do you see an aura?
Well, you learn to open your third eye and you can see anyone's aura. Your friends have interest in auras too. All of them. You're like my favorite group that's ever walked in from this town.
You must teach me.
I could teach you that. Let me see. And she comes over and she puts her hand on your forehead. And it's like she's trying to spread eyelids on an eye. It may take a little time. I don't think your eye is ready to open. But you know one thing that can help? I don't like to say this loudly because some people just cannot handle it. But there are medicinal herbs that certain natives around here are particularly fond of that may accelerate the process, you know. You kind of need to sweat it out in a lodge for a bit and kind of just accept where you are and be in that space, even if it's a very negative experience, which often it is. Not always, but often enough. But it can really help open up both your eye and your mind.
Well,
Your friend Rahrah, or your friend Jericho, he is probably knowledgeable about some of these, although he may not know specifically which combinations will do this, but he may too. He may, though.
Perhaps if you have list and instructions, I could work with him. Or you. I'll speak to him too. Thank you. Interesting.
If he doesn't know, I'll give him some guidance, but he can probably find. The only thing that's very difficult is the glowing mushrooms. There's only one hill around here that has them. That they like glow in the night.
Well, if you have a map, that would just be the cat's pajamas.
Oh, we should ask Jericho. He probably knows. And if he doesn't, maybe Annie does. One of the two of them knows. I haven't been there in so long. I'm not sure I could actually make a map for you, although I could probably... Give me a little time. I could write one out, I think.
Well, while you sort that out, who needs sleep? I'll go find Jericho and see what he has to say.
All right. You go and find Jericho. Jericho is sleeping in a big, comfy bed.
Oh, yeah, she'll get the crust out of her eyes, just straighten out what I assume is like a vest.
Headed home at the end.
Oh, you headed home. You're right.
you?
I forgot.
Because I was worried about
you were going to walk
the
Volney
hands.
home.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you wanted to go feed Barbara.
That's right. You are not there.
Yeah, I have a pet now.
So the ones that are there are Evangeline and William, correct?
William.
And
Volney had
Wendy,
left.
technically, but you know.
And his sister. Well, we can leave her, probably.
Yeah.
I'll go give a quick rap on William's door. William!
You actually don't get a response, and I think if he hears you yelling loud enough, he'll just kind of like start walking up the stairs from the library downstairs, the like more general library, and he's got like a book in his hand. He's
You've got
Evangeline.
about 3 seconds, and I'm coming right in.
And the door
Evangeline,
opens, and Wendy is there at the door.
Oh,
He's not in here. I thought he went to sleep here, but he must have... I hope he didn't leave.
well.
Y'all, everything okay? What?
oh,
Evangeline? What's
you're
up?
up. Good for
Yeah,
you.
I've been up for a little bit. I mean,
Oh.
like normal work hours, you kind of get used to a certain rhythm.
Oh, aren't you industrious? Are you ready for a promenade out and into town?
Sure, but yeah, I guess. Wendy, how you feeling? First of all, we do not tell Ma or Pa about this. They do not need to know that I got you drunk your first time. And
You think this is her first time? Darling, Wendy, was this your first time?
As far as my brother knows.
That's what I thought. See?
still, Ma and Pa don't need to know that I got you drunk while you were traveling. Let's get you back to the hotel. Did you leave? Do you need food? Oh yeah. That's a thing.
And Gazzy comes over and she goes, "I'll get her to the hotel. You can just run on. Maybe Wendy would like a little reading or something."
Sure. And I actually will just like hand her the one that I was currently reading. It's just like a weird fiction book that he was just kind of reading to read, just to do something different.
Oh, Mary Shelley, I see you have some taste in things a little bit on the macabre side.
I mean, it's definitely different. It's kind of hard to keep track of how the science works, but it's definitely interesting. Something.
Well, the
Not
science
here.
of bringing life to the dead, that's not... I don't know if I would call that science much as magic. Perhaps in that book it's more science.
Well, ish.
Ish.
Doctor. He uses what he thinks is science. I don't know.
It is fun, though, and spooky.
Hmm.
You should try Lord Byron. He knew her, you know. He's more salacious.
I don't know. Haven't had really a chance to read. Still kind of picking it up, if I'm being honest.
Practice does make perfect.
Well, you get on. I'll make sure that your sister gets home okay.
Thank you, Grassy.
I'll see you in town when I bring her.
What did you need me for, Evangeline?
Oh, to help escort this helpless young damsel through the wood. We're gonna go find Jericho.
You are most definitely not a damsel. I can tell you that for sure. But sure.
I'm shocked. I thought you were going to say helpless.
Not necessarily helpless either, but definitely not a damsel. You can take care of yourself.
Indeed. All right, let's go.
You head towards town. We're going to skip over to town where Annie-Lynn is concerned. Father has not returned yet. It is now morning. The sun has arisen.
So, Annie-Lynn has been sitting in her front room, kind of holding her rifle in her lap, kind of staring blankly into space, breathing really shallowly. The tick of the clock is coming in the background. Her legs kind of twitching as she's thinking. Oh, to hell with it. I gotta figure out what's going on. She gets up. Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a bullet maker in town? Like someone who crafts.
There's a blacksmith.
A blacksmith? Okay. Mm-hmm. Would they be able to craft custom bullets?
Sure, with a little time and
okay.
And access to whatever material you want.
Right. Can I roll I'm trying to figure out if I would know, this is very far-fetched, but would I know roughly, like, even if it's just like an old wives' tale about, like, what kind of metals would produce protection against entities, werewolves, like, would I know that silver is a monster killer? Like, would I know that, or should I roll for that?
I don't think you would know it, obviously, so you'd have to roll to know, to understand magic.
Okay. Ooh, I don't have that at all.
Do you have are you incapable of it?
I am pretty incapable of understanding a lot of magical things. The reason I say that is I'm wondering if there's any just, like, common knowledge I would have, but I think I might have to consult with my magical friend.
I don't think you would have that as common knowledge.
Because I'm thinking, like, I don't know how to kill these things.
Right, I understand.
And he's just, like, sitting there contemplating, like, I can kill and shoot a lot of things, but I couldn't kill and shoot this monster, is what she's really kind of battling with, as well as the ghosts and the all the things that the boogers she's encountered. She can't kill anything, and she's having a bit of an existential crisis, honestly. And she's sitting there and she's twitching, so she gets her rifle and she puts it on her back. She's like, I should probably go see Jericho before I go and invest in anything large. And then she quickly writes a note, with, like, for her father, and puts it on the door. It says, "Gone to Jericho's," and she heads out.
And as you're heading out, you see old Biddle, that's one of the commissioners. She is walking past your home carrying a log. She's always carrying a log. And she nods her head. Morning, Miss McSweeney.
Day, where are you headed?
Into town, and then I got to go up to the Loves. We're gonna have a commission meeting up there, and take care of business.
Do you need me to go?
Of course not. I'm quite capable of. Well, we're quite capable of handling ourselves.
Okay. Well, just want to know. Things have been pretty strange around here lately, and I just want to make sure everybody's taken care of.
All right. Well, keep taking care of us then.
Right.
And she heads on.
Annie's like eyes are like shifting around now. She's very skittish maybe, but also just like has the type of resolve of like almost like an army person who's very like constantly scanning their surroundings, if that makes sense. Like she's become almost soldier-like in her resolve. That's kind of what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And so she continues on her way to Jericho's, but like is like constantly kind of doing like the surrounding scan. And lights a cigarette because she's stressed out of her mind.
A lot of cigarette smoking lately.
Yep.
And you, as you're heading to Jericho's, you see Evangeline and William coming down the road from Grazzy's.
Right. How y'all
Hey.
doing?
Hello, Annie.
Good.
Good.
Sisters at, well, Wendy, she'll want to meet you at some point.
Right. Right. Your sister came. All right. Sorry
no.
for that crazy dog that we were fighting. I forgot about a lot of stuff that happened.
Yes, a lot has gone
No.
on.
No need to worry about it. It's fine. We'll do full introductions at some point. Don't worry about it. But she's with Grazzy currently, and we are gonna go talk to Jer about... What were you wanting to talk to him about?
Gazzy mentioned something about a third eye. I was gonna ask, Jericho about, third eyes?
Well, I gotta ask him a question too. That's actually where I'm headed. I gotta figure out how to craft something to kill these monsters. My bullets can't do shit against any of them.
The axe worked out okay, but that's just normal iron. I mean, did take a while. Oh,
Well-
also, it just completely healed up, like, legitimately. Like, it's wild. It's just gone. Like, nothing there. I don't know what he did. It's just gone.
It
You're
healed
telling me
rather
that-
fast.
Normal iron can kill these things, but your wound heal really quick. I don't know. I think
That was
it's something
Jer.
deeper. Well,
It is rather strange, it's true. I don't know what to make of it. I've never seen anything like it before, but, that is what happened.
It was like a scar yesterday. I don't know.
I don't like
You
it.
saw him. Me neither.
And, is everything okay with you?
Did you find your paw?
No, he ain't come home yet. Good riddance. I don't
And,
care.
you're okay?
No, not at all.
Understood. She'll pull out her hip flask and just hand it over automatically.
I grab it immediately, which is uncharacteristic for Annie, because she usually is very hesitant with alcohol, and she's just like, "Phew," and like hands it back.
Yep, it's
No.
all autonomic responses.
And while you're talking, there's a couple of cars that go pass through town and start heading north on the road up to the mines.
What?
A couple of automobiles.
I mean, yeah.
That's
The
unusual.
rich folks.
Right?
Yeah, do we recognize cars at all? Are they familiar cars?
One of them looks familiar.
Loves.
Should we grab Jericho and investigate this thing? Sorry, in character. Should we grab Jericho and investigate this thing?
I mean,
Yes.
oh.
While you're contemplating this, we are going to hop over to Jericho for a moment. Jericho, you are actually you've finally got a little time alone.
Happy to have no plans today. Nobody should be stopping by in the next 5 minutes at all.
Yeah, perhaps even a little sleep. Maybe.
It's a nice morning. Barbara and I can catch up.
Nice morning is not the term I'd use. I would say it's a restless morning. The leaves of the kudzu kept at bay are kind of rattling a little bit. Some of your creatures are kind of tucked back deep into their holes or their webs or their their resting spots, and they seem to be they are pulling away like they're trying to protect themselves. And while you're checking things out, the ground rumbles for a moment, just a little bit.
Are earthquakes a thing that happen from time to time?
You ain't never felt one here.
Maybe. Does it feel like an explosion at the mine?
You'd think you would have heard something, a boom or something.
That's true. Oh, mother's getting hungry. Hear that rumble. I'm gonna... If I wasn't already outside, I'm gonna go outside.
But you were inside at the moment.
Do that thing in that Phenomenon movie where I stand with my eyes closed and see if I can feel energies. I'm just going to open myself to the green and see what it's whispering about what's happening.
When you do so, you feel around you the energy of all your protections, protecting your home and your livelihood. And you feel that they are working overtime today. Like they all seem to be giving you a tingle from every single direction almost at the same time.
Like some force is pushing against our haven. Mm-hmm. Has Barbara changed much overnight besides normal growth for a hand her age?
Barbara has changed some, grown a little bit of extra arm, is now starting to fill out that jar a little bit better, trying to really reach in there. It has actually gotten an elbow.
It's staying like humanoid-sized hand. The hand's not getting abnormal. Right.
Correct. Although, if you make me a perception check, perhaps you'll notice something a little different.
I can do that. I'm actually rolling on an online thing because my dice are 3 feet away, I just realized.
Totally okay.
That is an 11. If it's intellect, I have an edge.
It is intellect. So that puts it to 12. So that would actually make it. That's what you needed, was a 12. So
blessed be.
While you're looking, you realize that there's some color change and from the end of the hand to maybe midway down the arm, the color is looking more like a living arm than kind of a fleshy, growing necrotic piece of meat.
Mm-hmm.
It is looking more and more like something that would not look dead. And it had always looked more like dead meat that was growing before. Interestingly, no, I'm going to save that. It looks more healthy.
Barbara, everyone thinks you're a monster, and sometimes I just worry if you're trying to get back to your family. What is a body besides a bunch of parts working together? It's been a long time since I've been part of a body, Barbara. Alright, day off, no one's stopping by. William's sister's in town, so maybe they'll all be busy today. A little worried about Annie and her dad.
And you feel the tingle of visitors.
The good tingle.
Yeah.
Well, the not negative tingle. Oh, Barbara, I spoke too soon. I'm gonna go open my door and look because I think I might be a little on edge, realizing all my creatures are on edge.
Yeah, and you see 3 of your 4 friends coming up the road towards your home.
3 of my 4 friends.
Volney is not with them.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. Morning.
Boat ride?
Honestly, sure. That sounds amazing. Something different. Possibly
Jared, how do I
peaceful.
kill monsters? How do I kill monsters?
All right, come
Oh,
on in, Annie.
God.
Let's all come inside. Come inside, Miss
Okay.
Evangeline.
You wouldn't happen to have any coffee, would you?
Yes,
I do
coffee.
actually, if you don't mind the Francis pressed.
Fantastic.
I do appreciate that you are a fancy man. Also, Gazzy mentioned, for me to ask you about third eyes, and opening them. As a
Yes.
matter of fact, if you happen to have any, herbs that would do that?
Well, I mean, let's all come into my office. We'll put all this down on a list. All right, how to kill ghosts.
Yes.
Third
And-
eye.
Monsters! Don't forget the monsters. I do believe Annie-Lynn did mention killing monsters.
All sorts of types.
I've got
Creatures.
a little thing too. I'd love to present to the council.
Oh, yes, please.
Please, I'm all ears.
Did you have
Annie.
slides?
Oh no, you were there yesterday when I got this necklace, and our host talked to me a little about it. Annie was missing, actually, but it appears if I wear this, we can all go look at a memory of anybody. No, who the necklace comes from. The booger from the mountains who came and you played cards with. If I understand our host correctly, if we find out how they died violently, we can possibly undo a whole chain of events if we're able to fix that situation somehow. And this could show us how they died.
You mean
What? Okay.
But that, that could be after we open Miss Evangeline's third eye and teach Annie how to bust ghosts. So when people need someone to call, they can call her.
a Ghostbuster? Well,
Yeah, to put it that way.
I'll add that to Game Warden, I guess.
You know, this is absolutely fascinating. I believe I read a paper about some sort of beliefs like this once. Isn't it amazing how different cultures have sort of the same stories? Fascinating.
We're all crazy here, Miss Evangeline. This is just a normal week.
Okay.
But I think
Where's
Annie's
the coffee?
dad should be pretty higher up on the list than any sort of necklace investigating.
Might not be a bad idea to have Volney here with us as well. That might not
Unless
be
he's
at
too
least-
close to this.
Feel like he should be here at least to see what happened too. It's only fair.
Do we really
Wow.
think it'll work?
Are we sure Volney's not a booger? Sings like an angel, teleports into creeks,
I mean, the
Hidden.
fellow isn't slimy.
used magic on a
No.
bunch of kids.
See, I known Boney for a while. Pretty sure Boney
Magic on
saw
kids, I don't.
So they sang.
Oh,
It's fine
He
if we don't
grabbed them
think
with
so.
pennies.
Oh, come now. Volney's so sweet.
He really is.
There's nothing wrong with Volney.
No, not
But-
besides his normal stuff.
That's
Annie-
not wrong, that's just strange. We all like strange, right? I like strange.
Is your dad home
Yep.
yet, Annie?
no, he ain't.
That's curious. 2 days is curious.
2 days is dark.
Too long. Do you know where he would have gone?
He ain't in his usual places. Gone and asked all the taverns, all the watering holes I could possibly think of, the above ground and below ground types that I know he likes to frequent. Went to the brothel, he ain't there. I don't know where he could have run off to. Maybe he's so embarrassed by lying to me for 30 years that he up and left the whole town. Good riddance, all I have to say about that. But then again, I do care about him, and I am very upset. I may not show it on my face, but as much as I hate the bastard, I am worried about him.
I don't suspect he ran away. But, where would he have gone, do you think? For feeling guilty?
I could try to scry on him.
You think he went to the mines?
Well, that's where it all began, ain't it? He might have gone back there. feeling guilty. Maybe got drunk, passed out, but I feel like one of the workers would have at least come to me and said, hey,
Not
your dad-
talking about that mine.
The other mine, right.
Or he went to that death room to try to change a deal.
Where do you think he would have placed the source of the guild? If he felt it, right?
I'm definitely at the discovery of the mine. That's the whole reason that he sacrificed my mama. So I mean,
Then,
maybe he gone back there. We could check it out, honestly, but
then maybe
worried
we
about
look
it.
there first. The origin, where he might have gone. Maybe he thought there was something to fix, or maybe something to return to.
Did y'all feel an earthquake as you walked up?
Earthquake?
Yeah, the
You
ground
think-
shaking.
You think this is California? This is West Virginia. We ain't
Well,
getting
I
no
was actually going to ask if they were exploding at the mine, now that we were talking about the mine, because I felt the ground shudder just a few minutes before
We
y'all
did
approached.
see cars going over to the mine, did we not?
Yeah.
There's
That's-
activity
Mm.
of some sort.
You know, we've got a lot of things on our list, but I think Annie's father should probably take a little bit of a emergency level red priority over, you know, Barbara's fingerless gloves I'm knitting or any book reading and things of that sort.
Perhaps it is certainly more personal and prescient.
Well, with all the creatures running around, I do fear for his safety. He is an old man, he is infirm, and I don't think he can fight for himself. Besides, I don't know if he brought his rifle with him.
And didn't you say he needed a medicine or something?
Yeah, he ain't taking his medicine now for 2 days, so he's probably coughing something fierce. We should probably find him.
And bring the medicine if you can.
Yeah.
GM, without a cipher or anything, is there any sort of lots I can throw, bones I can toss to try to enter into magic to, you know, I'll even follow a dowsing stick type of thing. Is there any sort of working I could do?
I'd give you a use magic to kind of put something together that would give you a shot.
Beautiful.
Evangeline is going to study you so hard.
I'm gonna...
Notes.
Annie, could I have a hair or two?
Yeah. There you go.
I put one in a pocket. The other one, wrap around a nail, like dip it in some honey, various things. And I would also like to use. Yeah, I'll use an edge, and I would even be willing to use an effort on this one.
So that means you're going to go from a 6 to a 4.
Deal.
All right.
14. I hate digital dice rollers. I don't trust them.
I'm not sure they're totally random. I don't trust them either.
They work for the doc.
Yeah. So explain your divination tool and how you're going to put this into the works.
You know, the tools are more a catalyst for the magic, where the magic is more one of intent. So I think of my friend Mr. McSweeney, who I've known for a decent amount of time and watched him struggle with his struggles. And I think of my friend Annie and how much I hope for a brighter tomorrow for her. And using those intentions mixed with approaching the green in a friendly, humble way, I'm just gonna ask it if it can point me the direction, and if not, at least try to keep him safe. As this weird nail with Annie's hair and honey around it, I've maybe placed in a little bowl of water. Prick my thumb, single drop, and then just hold it to see if it starts spinning or anything.
And after about a minute, it takes a little time for it to kind of settle in on the water. It does start to spin. And it starts to spin initially one direction, and then it changes. And it turns, and it is pointing almost due north. And you know, both you and Annie-Lynn know, that almost due north is about the same direction as the guilty hole.
God damn it.
Is that where I think it is?
Yep. That's where Gelsey Hole was at, due north.
You know, if you believe any of
Hate
this
being right.
magic.
I believe
feel
anything
like-
at this point.
I was gonna say, I figure you gotta believe at this point with all the... I didn't even show you, I'm sorry. You fucking healed me. Like, it's gone.
Herbs are amazing.
I don't think that's what it was, but sure. I'll let you roll with that if that's what you
and
want.
the power of friendship with you.
Okay. Nonetheless, I feel fine, and I appreciate it.
When things calm down and maybe we can get back to our normal lives for a little bit, I'd more than be happy to teach a few little tricks. Start a little school, maybe. Jericho
for
School of
witches.
Wizardry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Well, you got your first student, gesturing towards Evangeline.
And how?
I just want to know how to kill him. That's all. You can teach me how to kill him. That's all I care.
I mean, iron should work pretty okay for quite a few ghost type things.
Well, my bullets ain't working, and right through.
GM question.
Okay.
If I revert back in remembrance to going to seminary to be like an army chaplain before all that, did I learn how to bless water?
Of course.
Could we dip your bullets in holy water, Annie?
What?
Does that logically sound like it would make sense to my group of 3 of my 4 friends?
I mean, sure. I don't see why it wouldn't do something, at least for a little bit.
They definitely evil, that's for sure. Mine is
I
going to
remember.
get burned a bit.
I was gonna say I'll douse my axe in it too, if that'll help.
I don't know if I remember how to pray that way.
I think any prayer you do that's good aligned will be certainly fine with me, honestly. I don't care. As long as it ain't any of that, whatever they come from.
What, you don't remember what sort of god to pray to? It's just God with a capital G, if I remember correctly.
Well, I mean, this is like Catholic magic. That's a whole specific other thing.
What, have you never seen that before? You wave an incense around and
Oh, I have. It's
pray to
just
the
been,
same god, you just wave your hands around in a certain way. It's not that hard to do. I grew up on it.
I'm much more organic now in my magics. It's been a while since I participated in the rituals of that language. But I'm gonna go start digging through a closet for like a full vestment.
You find it.
God damn it.
Well,
After-
Father
gosh.
J, look at you. If only you spoke in an Irish accent, I'd feel like I'm just up in Boston. And for some reason, William, Evangeline just keeps bumping into you. Just bumping into you. Real clumsy. She's just a klutz today.
Y'all hung over or something? Why you keep bumping into each other?
Oh, I had a lot of lemonade last night, I'll tell you that much.
All right, I gotta try some.
Yeah. Are you okay? I know
Yeah,
you're not
I'm
okay.
fine. I am just fine.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go outside and pray over a bucket. Feel
Okay.
free to make more coffee if you want.
Yeah. Honestly.
Don't call me twice. And he goes over, grinds the coffee, puts it in the press.
It's
Is,
like a
is it going to be an Irish coffee or is it just plain coffee?
Oh, it's
Honestly-
black coffee.
Oh, the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
For like staying awake. All right. You go outside, Jericho. You get your praying over your bucket you were looking for. Make me a perception check.
Keep looking to my die. Oh, that's a 6. This computer has an agenda.
Okay. You finish doing your rituals.
Hey,
Ritual.
God. It's me. Yeah, I'll go into the Latin even and all the right calls and responses, like
All right.
clumsily, but I think they'll come back to them.
Yeah. They never really left. They were subdued for a while.
like a light fear of hell underneath everything I do for my entire life.
So you finish your praying, your godliness. God hadn't heard from you in quite a while, so who knows? Maybe you'll get the benefits of that.
It's complicated.
It is.
Can I see if this is? Is there a way I can test this? Maybe sprinkle it on the wolf corpse mushy pile from the night before.
I'll let you do that. Sure.
Yeah, gross. I'll splash it.
Can you make me a use magic roll, please?
Deal. Use magic. Edge and trained. That's still only an 8.
Oof.
And it makes a wet area on that fur.
Looks like it worked. Things all decomposed.
Jericho, remember? It's Ave Maria.
I don't know if the
Benedictus
prayer was
tecum.
the bad roll, or if me figuring out if it worked was the bad roll. So I'm pretty sure this is good. Are any of you cursed or undead, and you want to touch it? And Barbara, no.
I'll try. Fuck it, and I'll just like dunk my hand in.
Uh-oh.
And it burns like no, it does no.
William,
My. If
Joshua.
only I were a man. They let men be priests. Jesus.
And it's.
I mean, you're more than
okay.
welcome to try if you want. I was just supposedly all the
I don't
shit
know
went
if
down
I
in
did
my.
it right, everybody, but I
Protocol.
mean, at least we could clean your blade, William. We could clean your bullets, Annie. That's useful, probably.
Yeah, and then I like open up my jacket and there's like this whole like ring of them, and I just start like plunking them in one by one.
Just.
I got a
Just kinda
hatchet
like-
and a knife.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say just kind of like dunking just the blade, not the actual wood.
Okay.
It's worth a shot. I don't fucking know at this point. This is all fucking crazy.
I imagine Evangeline doing like the Hail Marys, but like giggling her way through it,
Right.
just not taking it seriously. Ave Maria, gratia plena, benedictus tecum, benedicta tu, and just going through the whole thing.
The exact same as when you're 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where in contrast, once Jericho comes inside, the Catholicism drops off of him. So while Miss Evangeline is praying, he's like breaking small bones and like sprinkling like tobacco in the air and muttering little things, and it's just this weird coexist bumper sticker in like a weird herbalist
And
shack.
she's just making the funniest faces as you do this, just like trying not to react, but like smirking to herself the whole time. Yeah.
Intention is the truest prayer, Miss Evangeline. It don't matter what you say.
Oh Lord, I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying. I haven't done this in years.
And you all finish blessing all your weapons and articles of violence.
The guns are rusting now.
Oh God, forgive me, Jericho. It's been 7 years since my last confession.
I'm not that type of guy. Please don't.
Only
Don't worry, I
7.
wasn't about to call you father.
Puts the vestment back on. No. So, are we going on a rescue dad operation?
Hold on, one more thing.
Oh,
Oh, what?
Let's stick my badge in.
Smart.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
And I just dunk it in.
hallelujah.
Put it back. I mean, it's worth a shot,
Blessed
right?
art thou
It's right
amongst
near my
women.
heart.
I don't fucking know. It's not my area of expertise. I just fucking hit shit. I don't know.
I'm just gonna
Not-
touch them. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus, or whatever.
That sounded
Damn.
right. That sounded right. As a way of investigating my poppet, GM, could I dunk it in the holy water for flair while doing like a what type of poppet is this moment?
Sure, I'll let you do that.
I hope I have it after.
So you get a feeling after you do it that poppet is a form of protection that there must have been a name on it at some point, because you realize that it needs a name to be written on it so that it will protect that particular person. It can also be used to protect more people if you destroy it.
Mm-hmm. All right, this will be useful. And everyone, have everything evangelized. Did you want your third eye open before we go on this adventure?
Is this?
If we can do it now, I don't know how much time it's going to take, but really, if there's enough time to do it, let's do it. By Jiminy.
There ain't no time for it. You got to spend time basically with your mind in another place.
Yeah,
Look at
she
a
has
jar
no
that's
clue.
labeled Third Eye Tea. I'm like,
That's one of the few that actually glows because it has that mushroom, that bioluminescent mushroom in it.
By the way, Juicy, the character, has never felt so useful having been an altar boy before. Just gonna say.
I'll let the group vote on this. Do we want to bring Barbara?
Fuck no, why were we bringing the cursed hand?
You know,
In case we have to trade it for Annie's dad? I don't know.
I always do feel better having a right hand around, but perhaps two hands are better than one.
We could give her a job.
You think she is aware of you in a nice way? Like, are you training this thing like a?
She's up to the elbow growing.
Past the elbow at this point, she now has an elbow and it started growing the upper arm.
Does it look like she's going to be kind of jacked?
No, not in particular.
Actually, now that we have a little bit more to work on, can we tell if it's a male or female arm?
I don't know. How do you
get out the wrists?
There is no
Tattoos.
nail polish on the fingers, if that's what you mean. I'm not sure what the difference between a male and a female arm is.
I feel like male and female hands, you can kind of tell at least a little bit of a different sizing, you know.
Do the tattoos have fire or
I would say
feathers?
that it looks like kind of a smaller, daintier hand.
Okay.
But that does not necessarily
What is
mean that
Barbara?
it is a woman's hand.
It's a Barbara instead of a Bart. That's all we needed to know.
Barbara.
Barbara's awkward tears.
You can be whatever you want, Barbara.
This is true.
In this
No.
modern age of the 1920s, the world is your oyster.
We can leave Barbara. I mean, glass breaks pretty easy, I guess, in caves.
And ceilings.
I mean, why don't you put a leash on it?
William hated that idea.
Why not? It's just a.
It's just not his king.
You
Sooner or
Just
later,
fully
we're gonna have to-
blacks out for a second, like not just staring off into space.
You know what? I understand. Things are freaking me out too. Let's just leave. Let's leave Barbara behind. And who knows? Maybe she'll come to our aid if we need her.
I'll leave another little book open in front of her like last time. And then since I love her, I'll put a ring around it in salt to keep her safe. Or in. Alright, well, you watch the house. If I don't come back, grow good. Grow strong.
I just feel like if anyone comes along, they should be able to drive a getaway car. And Barbara just can't hit the pedals.
Yeah, she don't have any feet yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Though by the looks of
We
it, she'll
liter-
get there one day.
Are we
Or the
really
feet
going
are
to let
growing
this
in the
arm?
woods.
Are we going to really let this arm fully grow into whatever it's supposed to be?
Well,
Honestly, at this point, if it likes us and if it's weird,
We
it
don't.
might help
It's
us out.
trapped in a jar. We don't even know if it is an ally or antagonistic towards us. We don't know anything.
well, William, here's how I feel about it. We have enough time to decide, and as long as it's going to be a human, I'm pretty okay with that. If it turns out to be some sort of botanical monster or a bear, then we can talk about shooting it. But we'll know well in advance, I suspect, because once it gets to his shoulder, it should sort itself out.
I just had an idea.
Hey,
Jericho,
please.
you know how to read?
I'm trained in reading, actually.
Right.
I've got writing.
You need to go down, because I seen this done one time when at one of my shooting shows, is somebody talked completely with their hands. Meaning they made words with their
Simon.
hands.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to the library and get a dictionary for that type of speaking, maybe you could teach Barbara how to talk with her hands. I'm just saying, I've seen it done once.
No,
I don't know how it's done.
In my head, I'm wondering if Miss Evangeline or William maybe even know how. I could maybe give her a palm reading.
Now, I mean, no, talk like they make words with their hands. You know what I mean by
No,
that?
I've seen it. I just didn't know if maybe the city folk or our good friend from down the road maybe happened to have someone in their family who needed it or something.
No.
You guys don't know sign?
And while you're sitting there
It's a good luck.
debating sign language for incorporeal hands, the ground sort of rumbles a little bit.
Oh, shit. We should get going.
That's
let's
what I
go.
was talking about earlier.
And I start
Not
putting the
much.
book back.
It's just a little rumble, though. It's just kind of
Well,
rumbling.
that's swell.
I don't.
She'll take a drink.
I'm gonna give
Please
Barbara a
pass that
thumbs
on.
up against the jar because we're
Please.
leaving, just to see if she
Thank
gives
you.
one back.
The hand just sort of falls to the edge of the glass.
It's Titanic.
You know, if this were 10 years later, we'd have plenty of references. Adam's family.
Another retrofit in the chat said Water, Helen Keller's biography was published in 1903. So this is a crazy proposal.
Excellent.
To the mind.
And she learned to sign with one hand. So
That's true.
So y'all head out, and Jericho, can you make me a perception check as you're walking down the road towards the hills to the north?
Please roll well.
A 3 could be considered well, but that would
No.
depend on.
In a different game.
yeah, in a different game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to burn a drive.
Yeah.
I'll roll. No.
In this one, I'd say that would be not well.
Oh, bum.
Oh well. And you continue on the road, and you get to the bend where you have to turn and go up the hill, and there is, of course, an old abandoned home up on that hill, and behind that is the guilty hole.
Should we check? Should we check out the
abandoned
house,
house?
too? Yeah.
We should be
Wasn't
careful
that where the
with
lightning was coming from or something?
it. Around here.
I thought
Kinda.
Gazzy said that the lightning was on another hill farther past.
Yes,
this
it was
location.
further.
hmm
Yes.
Oh.
But this house, it's heavy on my spirit, and I'm not sure why. But I think we should take a look around.
I don't know. At this point, I'm just kind of following along with what you guys got to do. Should probably check in on Wendy at some point, but otherwise, we gotta
Andy,
find.
this is your quest. You want to look at this house? You want to keep going straight to the mine?
No, let's get that asshole out of there if he's down there. We'll come back for the house later.
It is en route back, so that does seem to make some sense.
And as you turn around the edge of the house, you see what is a very unimpressive hole in the ground with a wooden frame around it. But right behind that, there is T.J. Booker's truck that has apparently run into a tree, and there is all sorts of bottles and tapped barrels that have been poured out in this area.